Welcome to Mom Make That ×2. Have you ever tried to make puff pastry from scratch or
butter with your own hands?
Have you?
What?
Well, whether you have or haven't, I'm sure you found this channel with a reason. So why don't you come along with us and try to make puff pastry and butter? It's gonna be great! We took the recipe from farmhouseonboone.com and doubled it, starting with 1 cup of active sourdough starter, which we named Eenie, and the girls made him our class pet. Here we added 1/2 cup of sugar and 1.5 cups of cold milk. Added 2 eggs, one teaspoon of vanilla, 2 teaspoons of salt, for the flour, I differed from Lisa's recipe by using 1 cup of bread flour, 2 cups all-purpose flour, and 3 cups pastry flour. My stand mixer mixed the dough for about 10 minutes until it was smooth and elastic and pulled away from the bowl. I then covered it and set it on the counter for 4 hours. After the 4 hours, it was put in the fridge for overnight. It can be left there for 8 hours till 3 days even.
Butter with your own hands.
We poured whole milk about halfway in a mason jar. Maybe we shouldn't have used the whole milk, but we did. The rest of the way we poured in the heavy whipping cream. Then we all took turns shaking it around as we went through history. Am I really going to include all of this footage? Oh yes, you get to feel at least part of what it felt like to shake these for over 10 minutes. And after all of that shaking, we got pretty much heavy whipping cream. So we decided to add it to the bowl of my stand mixer and have the stand mixer do most of the work. Hee. I also added the rest of the heavy whipping cream. More so out of curiosity than anything, I added 1/2 cup of dry whole milk powder. No idea if it actually did anything, but I decided to give it a try anyway. And drum roll, we finally have butter! I also used the leftover buttermilk to use in a recipe later on this week. Time to give the butter a cool rinse. Once the water became clear, it was time to go ahead and take the butter out and start spreading it out into a 6x8 rectangle.
It's folding time!
If you're curious what the blue thing is underneath the dough, it's an ice pack that's pretty flat, trying to keep it all cold. I added the block of butter and folded the dough over top of that. I should have went ahead and folded it one more time in half after this, but I didn't. Instead, I put it in the fridge, and for way too long. The butter actually solidified too hard to even work with it, so I had to make it again, and this time I only let it rest for a maximum of 30 minutes in between each fold. But of course, I totally forgot to take a video or picture of the rest of those folds, so yeah, another mistake. So until you're done with the first and even second fold, don't leave the dough and the butter in the fridge for more than 30 minutes at a time. Time to create.
I made pie crust out of puffed pastries.
Then my littles helped me create puff pastry shells. We didn't push down the molds, we just cut around them to make sure they would puff up as nicely as possible. I made a savory dish to be poured into the shell pastries. Those were delish. And of course we had to make a dessert too, using homemade blueberry filling. And that's how we made puff pastry from scratch and
Butter with your own hands.
Right? We did. Hope you enjoy. Make sure to like and
Subscribe!
see you later. Welcome to Mom Make That ×2, where we try to make things from scratch together. Today, we're wondering, have you ever tried to make puff pastry before? Or
Butter with your own hands.
have you? What? Yep. Well, guys, we made fun.